The Zigzag Path to Greatness, Why Your Detours Are Your Destiny. What if everything you've been told about success is wrong? What if the straight line isn't the shortest distance to your dreams, but actually the longest? I recently had the extraordinary privilege of interviewing Marlo Goode, a visionary whose journey from cosmetology to fashion, youth programming, media, and entrepreneurship has redefined what success looks like for Black women in creative industries. Her story isn't just inspiring, it's revolutionary. Marlo isn't merely building businesses, she's constructing bridges between communities that have been historically divided by systemic barriers. Through her work empowering youth in Baltimore with creative skills, she's transforming not just individual lives, but entire neighborhoods. Her ability to see possibility where others see only problems makes her more than a success story. She's a blueprint for a new kind of leadership that our world desperately needs. The most successful people I've met don't follow a straight path. They zigzag, they pivot, they embrace detours that others might consider failures. And in those unexpected turns, they discover their greatest strengths. Marlo Good embodies this truth. With each career transition, each apparent detour, she didn't just survive, she thrived. She accumulated skills, perspectives, and connections that made her uniquely qualified to create spaces where none existed before. The path that doesn't make sense to others is often the one that makes all the difference, Marlo shared during our conversation. Her words hit me like lightning, illuminating a truth that society works hard to keep hidden. We've been conditioned to believe that success looks like a ladder, one rung after another in perfect sequence. But what if success actually looks more like a mosaic? Pieces that seem random when viewed up close, but create something breathtaking when you step back and see the whole picture. Consider Tracy Reese, who rose from Detroit roots through Parsons School of Design to become one of America's most influential Black designers. The fashion industry wasn't waiting with open arms. She faced systemic barriers, limited access to funding and networks compared to her white peers. Eurocentric beauty standards dominated fashion leadership roles. But Tracy didn't wait for permission. She built her own brand rooted in her vision, refusing to compromise authenticity for industry acceptance. She led major portfolios like Perry Ellis while keeping her name visible. She hosted Essence sponsored runway shows and became an icon whose work challenged industry norms around who gets seen as a creative director. Tracy came up during an era when few Black women were seen or heard in design rooms, but she used every opportunity strategically. And today, she's helped shift conversations from aesthetics alone toward power sharing at the highest levels. This is the first lesson from Marlo's journey. Your unique path, including setbacks and pivots, isn't a weakness, it's your superpower. The ability to adapt and reinvent yourself is what sets you apart in industries that often overlook non traditional backgrounds. But there's more to this story, something deeper that connects Tracy's experience with Marlo's wisdom. The second insight from Marlo's journey cuts even deeper. Giving back multiplies your impact. Throughout her career transitions, Marlo maintained an unwavering commitment to community, empowering youth by teaching them everything she knows, from branding to creative production. This wasn't charity. This wasn't a side project. This was central to her success. Research shows that Black owned brands thrive when they center values like mentorship, storytelling, and community impact. When you invest in others' growth as part of your business model or leadership style, you create ripple effects of opportunity that eventually flow back to you. Take Kendra Anderson, founder of Caviar Dream, the first nationally distributed caviar brand owned by a Black woman. She entered an exclusive market perceived as too white or inaccessible for people like herself. She faced skepticism about whether such products could appeal widely within her community. But Kendra focused on democratizing luxury through inclusive tastings and events. She built a brand identity around cultural pride rather than exclusivity. She was motivated by childhood experiences, seeing luxury only on TV, not feeling it was for us, and set out to rewrite this narrative intentionally. The result? She changed perceptions about who belongs in luxury spaces while growing national distribution channels against industry odds. She hosted events bringing gourmet experiences into underserved neighborhoods, redefining both product value and customer experience expectations among marginalized groups. Kendra's approach inspired other founders across sectors to rethink inclusivity, not just as marketing, but as core business strategy. Her success wasn't despite her community focus, it was because of it. When you pour into others, Marlo told me, the universe has a way of pouring back into you tenfold. This brings us to the third and perhaps most powerful lesson from Marlo's journey. Barriers can become launch pads for innovation. Facing bias or lack of access isn't the end, it can be the beginning of something disruptive. Marlowe turned discouragement into action by building programs where none existed and starting businesses tailored for overlooked markets. Consider Keisha's story. After struggling to find nude heels matching darker skin tones, a gap ignored by mainstream brands, she launched her own footwear company, targeting women like herself worldwide. Systemic bias meant no products addressed this need before hers. But rather than accepting this reality, she designed and shipped custom shades globally using digital platforms and social media. Her frustration with exclusion led her from consumer pain points straight into entrepreneurship. Without traditional retail backing or funding, she built a global customer base through authentic storytelling and community engagement. Her wait list grew viral, her brand expanded rapidly. Keisha proved that overlooked markets can drive innovation and revenue when approached authentically. The very problem that mainstream fashion ignored became her competitive advantage. The gaps in the market aren't accidents, Marlowe explained. They are opportunities waiting for someone who understands the problem intimately enough to solve it. What would happen if more people adopted this perspective? If more individuals embrace their diverse journeys, as Marlowe has, and centered giving back alongside pursuing their ambitions, industries would see richer innovation driven by lived experience instead of conformity. Communities would benefit from greater mentorship and access. Traditional gatekeepers would lose ground as new leaders emerge who reflect broader realities. Representation would increase, not just visually, but structurally in decision making roles across creative fields. This shift could help dismantle outdated beliefs about linear career paths or narrow definitions of success, especially relevant for underrepresented groups striving toward leadership positions today. Sister Maya Angelou once said, when you learn, teach. When you get, give. Marlo Goode lives this truth every day. Her journey reminds us that our greatest contributions often come from our greatest challenges. The poet Audre Lorde wrote, when I dare to be powerful, to use my strength in the service of my vision, then it becomes less and less important whether I am afraid. This courage to use your unique journey in service of something greater than yourself is what transforms careers into legacies. What if your detours aren't mistakes? What if they're actually the universe conspiring to give you exactly what you need for the journey ahead? Marlowe's path from cosmetology to media mogul wasn't despite her zigzags, it was because of them. Each experience built upon the last, creating a foundation no traditional path could have provided. Sometimes life hands you lemons, Marlo joked during our interview, and then takes away after school programs. But her laughter carried wisdom. That's when you build your own program and teach kids to make lemonade businesses. We all know Baltimore isn't exactly Paris Fashion Week, but that's precisely why Marlo's work matters so much. She's bringing runway dreams to concrete realities. She's showing young people that you don't need permission. The universe responds when you move. I want to challenge you today, not with gentle suggestions, but with a radical proposition. What if the very things society has taught you to hide or overcome are actually your greatest assets? What if your disadvantages are actually advantages in disguise? I'm asking you to do something uncomfortable. Embrace your zigzag, celebrate your detours, own your unique journey with fierce pride. Take one skill you have, even if it feels small, and use it this week to empower someone else. Whether it's mentoring youth, sharing knowledge online, or supporting another entrepreneur's project, your gift grows when given away. In a world obsessed with credentials and linear paths, be the person who values lived experience. In a culture fixated on individual success, be the one who lifts as you climb. In spaces that weren't designed for you, don't just claim your seat at the table, build a bigger table. Your zigzag path isn't a detour from your destiny, it is your destiny. The very things that make your journey different are what make your contribution irreplaceable. The world doesn't need more people following straight lines. It needs more people like Marlo Goode, visionaries who see possibilities where others see problems, who build bridges where others see barriers, and who understand that true success isn't just about what you achieve, but about who you bring along with you. So I leave you with this: your journey is your power. Your community is your strength. Your challenges are your opportunities. Now go use them to change the world.